do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
BBQ Central.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Am I good? Yeah. All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Here we go. Wow. They sound way different, I gotta admit. I'll get into that here in a second. Hey, you have found the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. We are broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here. If you want to jump in this evening with an email, you can do so at this email address.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about, let's call it 12 minutes from now, he is a first-timer to the show. If you are looking for something that has to do nowadays with charcoal, or you're looking for a new charcoal brand, or you're not happy with the brand of charcoal that you are currently getting down with, might I highly suggest that you go ahead and make sure that you listen to this next segment, because we'll be joined by the sales and marketing manager from B&B Charcoal. Joey Machado will be joining us right here on this show. And then after Joey, we will lock up the third week of the month. Of course, brings a visit from one of the founders of the Steak Cook-Off Association. Brett Galloway will be joining us. Yes. And then we will move to the second hour. Let me back up just for 1 second. Brett will be on. You know, we have not had Brad on the last, I think we might have missed him last month. I don't remember if it was the month after that. I know we had him right at the top of the year. We missed him at least once last month. A lot has been going on in the Steak Cook-Off Association. Something major has happened, not necessarily relating directly at the Steak Cook-Off Association, but directly to the Steak Cook-Off Association. That being, what? I actually saw firsthand a Steak Cook-Off Association event. Actually filmed it live. We did it live.
We'll do it live.
That's right, Bill. I filmed it live. It was huge success. It was one of the most watched videos I've put on my Facebook page in recent memory, on the show page. So if you haven't seen it yet, hop over there. I'll get into that here in a second. So that's what's going to be going on in the first hour. Then we will move to the second hour, and we will have a visit. Two first-timers to the show here this week, by the way. We will have a visit from somebody who has a last name that might just sound like something you've heard before. Might use a fuel source like something you've heard before. However, it's not what you think it might be. So we will be joined by the founder, investor of wood pellet products, Tyson Traeger, will be joining me. That's going to be fun. If you're not familiar with the products that Tyson is involved with, as I was kind of teasing, it is pellet related. He does outside heaters, but not like the propane heaters that you would typically see. Actually, like the propane heater that I just got for Christmas for my wife 4 months ago. These are pellet-fired outdoor heaters. Two different versions. There's a small and a big version, or a patio and a backyard, or and a commercial version, I believe is how he terms it. We'll find out more about it in the second hour. But then he also has a line of biomass fuel cookers, which can use pretty much anything to get it going. Unique, really cool to look at. They look like they are producing really cool food and heat. So very excited to talk to Tyson. I'm trying to actually chase him down for weeks. And then to close out the show, I will give you a recap of last week's events at the 2018 I Am Barbecue / NBBQA Barbecue and Grilling, the National Barbecue and Grilling Annual Conference that took place in Fort Worth, Texas. So there you go. Joey Machado coming up, Brett Galloway after that, Tyson Traeger in the second hour, and then my thoughts on the National Barbecue and Grilling Association and the events that took place last week and the people that I met and the reconnections that I've made, so on and so forth. All right, so let me ask you for a favor, especially if you get this show on podcast. Please go ahead, take time out to rate and review the show on the podcast platform that you listen to, whether it's on iOS, whether it's on Google, doesn't matter, Stitcher. Take the time out, even 1 second, and give me an honest rate and review. I'm a big boy, so if it can't be 5 stars, I get 3 stars. Hey, I love reading the 1-star reviews too. It's all entertaining and insightful and beneficial and educational to me. So please take time to rate the show. That's going to give the show more looks, more visibility on those platforms, and I would appreciate that, and thank you in advance. If you didn't see it, right at the top of the show,
a Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Here it is. It's right here, folks. It's the brand new Barbecue Central Show t-shirt. That's right. New logo is released. I actually have another logo aside from this one that my cousin Scott made that'll get up on the Amazon merch page here as soon as we launch that. Waiting for some file stuff there. And once we get that, we'll have another option. So here's what you do. Limited run of shirts. There's 50 total. And, I mean, I thought I had all the barbecue sizes kind of covered more or less. We have Barbecue Petite, which is a traditional XL shirt for $24. Then we have a Barbecue Small, which is double XL for $25. Then we have, and maybe I misunderstood, the traditional Barbecue Medium, which is triple extra large for $26. And to round it out, a 4XL $27 shirt right for you. Now, you might be saying, $26, $27, $25? Well, hold on a second. Hold your horses. Shipping is included in the price. You're welcome. And by the way, the cheapest shirts would have been small to extra large, all one price. I could have sold them all for one price. The minute you go into double XL and beyond, prices go up $1 a shirt size. So I get that $27 is a lot for, plus I'm trying to make a couple bucks, literally a couple bucks. I'm not even making money on shipping. I got all that worked out. So I did my best to keep costs down, but I mean, come on, guys. It's just more raw material. A 4XL is 4 times bigger than an extra large. It's just more raw material cost. So keeping it down, a couple bucks for me, literally a couple bucks for me. Then it ships off to you. 4XL, 3XL, 2XL, and extra large. All you have to do is go to the website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Let me show you. Here's the webpage here. And then all the way up at the top right, I'm circling it. There's a thing called products. You click on that. Then you have your shirt sizes, extra large, 2X, 3X, 4X. Go ahead and click into the shirt size that you want. Click view item. That'll give you a nice bigger shot. That's not me, by the way. That guy's in shape and has a full head of hair. Then at the very bottom, you can put in the quantity that you want and then click buy it now. Then you have this page come up, put in your email, your shipping address, then enter in your payment method, and you're off and running. Super simple. I try to keep it as simple as possible in the ordering process. And we've already sold 5 or 6 different shirts of varying sizes. Actually, extra large continues to be the most popular at the moment. But don't be left out. Please make sure that you head on over and get that first 50 run of the Barbecue Central Show t-shirts. Again, extra large, double XL, triple XL, and quad XL, $24, $25, $26, and $27 in total. And that price does include the shipping. So head on over. Love to send them out to you. We'll give some away here over the next handful of shows, too. But show everybody that you are a true Centralite by donning one of the first freshly minted Barbecue Central Show t-shirts. Some key influencers might have picked one up at NBBQA. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue. Shout out to Nick and the gang over there at Southside Market and Barbecue. Met Nick in person this past week. Got to hang out with him for a couple days. Absolutely incredible. Attention, anyone who loves sausage and barbecue. First of all, what do you know about Southside Market? I can tell you this. They were established in 1882. Southside, the oldest barbecue joint in Texas, has been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They're famous for the original beef sausage. It's coarse ground and natural pork casings. That is authentic Central Texas barbecue. Now, all the meats that they sell, including the prime briskets, are slow smoked for many hours over real Texas post oak wood. And they ship nationwide via the online store. Make sure you take this down, southsidemarket.com. That's southsidemarket.com. They ship fresh and smoked sausages nationwide. Shipping customers can choose to order now and ship later. Include a custom gift note. Mail multiple addresses without additional charges. They're not trying to jam you up. They're actually trying to save you money while you proliferate excellent barbecue and sausage. All shipped items vacuum sealed to ensure freshness and ease of preparation for the customer. Shipped with dry ice to ensure complete freshness upon arrival. All meats processed in the on-site USDA inspected facility. The meat market for fresh and smoked products. Custom orders are welcome. If you have an idea or a thought, please feel free to hit them up. There's 2 restaurants, by the way, if you want to check them out. The main flagship in Elgin, Texas, and one in Bastrop, Texas. That was founded in 2014. Grocery distribution through Texas and many surrounding states. And here's the hookup, folks. Just for podcast and live listeners only. You're not going to see this on social media anywhere else. 10% off all purchases through the online marketplace, southsidemarket.com. All you have to do is use promo code BBQ Central. That's right. Use the coupon code BBQ Central at checkout at southsidemarket.com to get 10% off your order. If you're on the fence about the beef sausage, this should push you over the edge. Get a bunch. You're going to love it. Again, 10% off coupon code BBQ Central at checkout at southsidemarket.com. That's Southside Market and Barbecue. We're back with Joey Machado right after this.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, this portion of the show is being brought to you by Butcher Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher's products have been tested on the competition circuit as well as in the backyard. You can be a championship pitmaster right in your own neighborhood if you visit butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. Always trust your butcher. All right, let me get this number in here. I did see a lot of Butcher products going on, by the way, this past weekend. Hey, some of us love wood, some of us love charcoal, some of us love both wood and charcoal, but I think we can all agree that regardless of what you like, you want to get the best options available. So when it comes to charcoal, there's a few big names, obviously, that most everybody knows about. But what if there was a better option I could let you in on? You'd like to know about it, wouldn't you? Of course you would. So my next guest is the sales and marketing manager for B&B Charcoal. Let's head to the Traeger Grills hotline and welcome first timer to the show, Joey Machado. Joey, how are you, buddy?
Doing wonderful. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Joey. Appreciate you making time for the show. And first and foremost,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to meet you over this past week at the National Barbecue and Grilling Association's conference. Really seeing what you and the team do was really kind of impressive. You're cooking, you're exhibiting, you're running around like a crazy man that whole week. How did you find the NBBQA for you guys at B&B?
I tell you what, I love NBBQA. Last year was our first year there as a company, as B&B, to be able to represent. And we've come a long way, to be real honest. I mean, last year we were begging and pleading to get some, to be able to get in there and put some product in some people's hands. And, everything that we did last year worked. And, we've been able to make some great relationships and some great friendships. And that's really what has propelled us to where we are right now.
Joey Machado joining me here on the show. bbcharcoalproducts.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're chatting it up this evening. Joey, if you could, I guess a little background about you first and foremost. Sure. Where are you out of, and have you always been in that live fire cooking and barbecue industry?
I tell you a little bit about my background. I am originally from and currently still live in Seguin, Texas. We're just kind of a rural town about 30 miles east of San Antonio. My background has always been a sales and marketing in something. And I've been competition cooking for about 17 years, mainly in the IBCA scene. That's been kind of what we grew up with and, what we knew. Probably over the last 4 or 5 years is when I really started to develop a relationship with B&B Charcoal. They became, one of our sponsors. And, my son had a little brush with fame as far as he did some Food Network stuff and was able to do Kids Q Barbecue Championship. And really for him, that kind of launched us as a barbecue company or as our team, what we call Guadalupe Barbecue Company. That kind of launched us out there and, got us seen. Ty, my son, was actually invited last year to NBBQA to become or to be one of their young guns. So he was like one of their celebrity cooks last year. And so that's kind of what got us our foot in the door with NBBQA, with the brand.
As far as the charcoal is concerned, when did you guys form the formal relationship with B&B?
I had started marketing for B&B more on a relationship level about almost 2.5 years ago. And then I actually got on the payroll probably almost 1.5 years ago. And, it was a brand. It's been around. It's been around since 1961. Wow. The same family who started it still owns it today. And, but it was a great company in Texas, but really not outside of. And that was kind of one of the tasks that they gave me was to try to, blow the brand up a little bit.
So, I mean, would you find that to be the case more or less when it comes to other charcoal that isn't, let's say, a Royal Oak or a Kingsford? There's local or regional success, but to really branch out, it's more of an anomaly than an occurrence?
Yes, I think you're exactly right. You know, there's a lot of great brands of charcoal who've been out there for years and years and years, and have just been that little local, what they would call a specialty, charcoal. I have several friends in the charcoal business now who, they still small batch it, and they may do, a couple hundred bags a year, and it's more of a hobby than it is a job.
Joey Machado joining me here on the show from B&B Charcoal. So let's go ahead and break down B&B's charcoal process, how it's made, and I guess how it sets itself apart from some of the other charcoal that's existing on the market today, because I think charcoal can easily be viewed as a commodity, and there is value
Correct.
in certain charcoals, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. As anybody out there who, realizes there's a reason there's a steak that costs, $1 a pound, and there's a reason there's a steak that costs $25 a pound. And with that knowledge and, looking at that value of, why you're going to do that, why are you going to use a cheap charcoal on your product? There's, we like to say, we're one of these companies that we're too big to be small, too small to be big. We know that we have a great product. We know that we have a premium product. And we do work with a lot of big box stores, but we still have the stance that, our product is worth something. Our brand is worth something. So every time that we go through the process of how this charcoal is made, we go back and look at it, because this product is an all natural product. This product is developed from live trees. We're not burning 2x4s or parts of the highway or anything like that. Basically, what we're doing is we're just using real wood producing real charcoal. And, and sometimes even because we do lump products, we do briquettes, we do hardwoods, we do just every gambit of the cooking side, we have a product for it, whether it's going to be pellet, electric cooker, you name it, we got it. And again, one of the main reasons that I joined this company is because me as a cooker, I paid for this charcoal for a very long time. I still pay for this charcoal today. I don't have a problem buying this charcoal. And it's kind of one of those things that, when you believe in a product, you're going to have it, regardless. It's just like anything else. If you have the best results using this particular charcoal this one time, and you happen to get a grand champion doing it, guess what? Next week, you're going to sure have that charcoal with you. And so that's kind of the mentality that we try to run. We try to have a very high quality product. We have very high standards for a lot of the big box stores that we deal with. We actually have to go through audits several times a year as far as the species of the wood that we're using, the way that our plant is operated, and the way that our packaging is done. So, I take social media very seriously, and I take it very personally. So I really watch social media. I try to make sure that, everyone's having great experiences. When there's not a great experience, I kind of freak out. And I, try to get down to the heart of it and try to contact those individuals who may say they had a bad experience or anything like that, and try to find out why and see if there's anything I can do about it. Sometimes it's people who are just not used to good charcoal. And, and sometimes it's people who it's an industry. So, sometimes we have people out there who bash us a little bit because, their heart's in another place, and that's okay. We all understand that.
From a consistent, so if you're making a consistent product and you have processes that are put in place to make sure that that product comes out consistently, like what would give somebody a bad experience? Like, can you have a bad batch of charcoal, or, wouldn't that string across like a whole run more or less?
Correct. And what a lot of people need to understand, whether it's our product or any other of the brands out there, there's a lot of human element in this. And I'll tell you, a funny story is I actually had a guy last year who sent me a picture, and there was a hammer in a bag of charcoal that he got. And it's funny because some of the charcoal, when it comes out, the pieces are so big that we do have guys standing on a conveyor line who busted charcoal with a hammer. And so, and the guy, he said, hey, I'm not complaining. He said, I got a free hammer out of the deal. And, but, that's one of the things. There are human elements to this deal. And usually if we ever have an incident, it's not because of the quality of the wood. It's not because of the quality of the charcoal. It's because there's a foreign object that's found in a bag, or, someone will say, I was at a Walmart or an Academy or something like that. And, it was a busted bag or, something like that. But it's very easy for people to take a very small thing and blow it up, that.
Yeah.
But like I said, for us is we do take big strides to make sure that we put the highest quality products out there every single day.
Joey Machado, the sales and marketing director for B&B Charcoal, joining me here on the show. Joey, what different kinds of charcoals are you currently offering right now?
We have our base line of charcoals, which is going to be our lump products, which we offer an oak lump charcoal, we offer a hickory lump, and we also offer a mesquite lump. Off the variation of that, we also have a mixed hardwood, which there's not a big enough percentage of one or the other, to make a difference, but It's kind of like the most inexpensive line of charcoal that we have. And, and the other thing for us is we have size variations that are like, it's kind of ridiculous how many different sizes we have, from a 10-pounder all the way up to a 40-pounder.
Wow.
And even for commercial side, you can go to 1,000 pounds.
Really?
And, oh yeah, we do a lot of commercial stuff. The company actually does, we've been over the years to a lot of private labeling as well. And like I said, we put the same product in lots of different bags. There's a lot of people out there who probably use our product and never even knew it. And, but that's okay as well. For us, we're still selling charcoal. Now in today's market, what we're doing, we've been really stressing to build this brand. We've been trying to burn these two B's into everybody's head and really put the value into our brand because, again, we make the most money when we sell this charcoal to the consumers. And again, so like I said, we've been doing a great job for everybody else. Now we want to do a great job for us. And so, moving forward, like I said, you're going to see a bigger presence of our product, even really starting this year. Walmart has helped us get from coast to coast, even into Alaska and Hawaii this year. So we've got a presence in, I think, all but about 2 states right now. And we have a huge presence in Academy Sports and Outdoors. Pretty much every academy that you're going to walk into, you're going to find our products now. I wish there were more academies, but I think according to their plans, they have more stores rolling out. But our main focus is, most of the academies are kind of in the heart of barbecue country. And I don't want to offend anybody who doesn't have an academy, but like I said, as far as the market trends go, we're kind of where we need to be. We also do stuff with Ace Hardware and various other, smaller brokers. We want to be a big brand, but we don't want to be too big of a brand where we lose our, we've got a good old boy mentality. We still do things on a handshake. We are from Central Texas. And like I said, you get too big and you lose control over the product you can put out there. And we don't want to do that.
Joey, one of the items that I wanted to talk to you specifically about tonight that I found very interesting was this char log that I saw bags of. Actually, the guys from Best Barbecue were, I don't want to say stealing. They were taking a lot of charcoal when it was starting to rain on Saturday and things were wrapping up, and they leave with a pickup truck full of charcoal, and there was a number of bags of these char logs. So for the folks that aren't familiar, what are those, and are they for a specific market?
Yes, and this is continuing on to your first question. The char log is actually a derivative of our oak lump charcoal. Everything that's too small to bag, it gets pulverized, and we have a natural binder that we create. We extrude these. They're like mini charcoal logs. And what they were originally intended for is for guys who run stick burners, every time that you'd go in there to put one stick of wood in an offset cooker, you put a handful of these char logs in there, which would be, it could be anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6 of these char logs in there. And really all they do is they just help you maintain a really nice coal base, don't give you dips in temperature. They just kind of give you a little bit more burn time, and it could extend the intervals between 30 to 45 minutes between when you'd have to put that next log on. So, for a lot of guys who've done competitions and, stay up late at night, feeding a stick burner, these things are pretty heaven sent because they can buy you some extra time. But the other thing they do is on these smaller grills now, on barrels especially, a lot of guys who started putting these in with their lump charcoal, with their briquettes, to extend those cook times as well. And you're able to get some crazy temperatures and some crazy cook times off of it. And while we're on that little subject, the briquettes that we put out is also the same material. It's an oak lump, it's oak lump dust. They're 96% oak dust. Plus, the balance of that's just a natural binder. So there is not a better or denser or, anything else that you would think about in a briquette. This briquette is just a phenomenal, item. And it's still a pretty inexpensive product. Even the char logs are, we have a 30-pound bag of char logs. They retail at Academy for $19.99.
Oh, wow.
So if you put a pencil to it, it's pretty inexpensive. I actually have taken the char log when I'm cooking in SCA contests. I can take 7 char logs in one fire starter chimney, and I can cook a whole contest just with 7 char logs. And I'm at 700 plus on grill grades. So, and plus you have a huge window of opportunity to cook that steak.
Sure.
On some other briquettes, you have a very small window. On this one, you got like 30, 40 minutes. You could actually cook a practice steak and cook your regular steak, and your grill grates, won't ever come off 750 degrees.
Not to segue too hard here, but as we're talking about the SCA, and obviously there were 2 of those that took place over NBBQA, but the one that I saw was the one that went off, I believe it was Thursday night or Friday night? Like the celebrity.
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. You have a budding pitmaster / grill master in your midst in your son Ty.
I do. I do. And,
yeah, you do.
we had a last year, like I said, my son, he was cooking full IBCA contests on his own from about 13 years old to about 15. And last year we just hit it really hard. We cooked over 22 contests last year. And to be real honest, he got burned out. And so I have, just kind of let him focus on school this year. And this is his first contest of the year. He's never cooked a SCA. And my first SCA was a couple weeks ago at Sonny's down in Florida, in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some, I've got some of the best, some of my brand ambassadors are some of the best, steak cookers.
You're damn right.
Exist.
Yep.
And so on the way down to Florida, I had Rolando from Poncho and Lefty Steaks on the phone, and I was like, "Hey, give me some tips. I want to go down there. I don't want to look stupid. I just want to be able to turn out a decent steak." And so he gave me, some good information, and we went down there and cooked that steak. And me being me, I didn't use a single bit of his knowledge. I went and I just did my own thing down there. And at the end of the day, I was about last. And Kendall Adair, who's also one of my brand ambassadors, he actually went down there to go cook with me at Sonny's. His steak was 3rd place. I got to taste it, and I figured out real quick everything I did wrong.
Yeah.
So when we had the opportunity to cook here at the National Barbecue Association, the plan was Ty was going to help me cook. And because even on the SCA, you still have to be 18 to legally, to collect a check if you win. And so the plan was, he was going to do it. But of course, you saw I'm running in 15 directions all the time. So we just kind of went over the game plan, and before I knew it, I got back to camp, and he was already cooking his first steak. And we used that information that Rolando had given us, and the very first steak he rolled out on his practice steak was perfect. I mean, I couldn't say anything about it. And the one question I asked him was, I said, where did you pull that steak? You know, at what temperature? And he goes, I didn't. I just pulled it off. I was like, okay, you know, so we went on to, you know, time to do the second steak for competition, and he went ahead, cooked it the same way, pulled it off, looked the same. You know, he was happy with it. I was happy with it.
Wow.
And I said, well, you going to tempt that steak? He said, no. He said, it's good. I said, all right, let it go. And sure enough, you know, he wound up with a fourth-place walk there against the guys who were there. Was
phenomenal. Forget about it. I mean, name it. You name it, everybody was there.
I mean, it was the who's who of the SCA.
Yep.
So we were very – I was happy because I saw that spark back in his eye again. You know, he's 16 now. You know, he's got a lot of things going around in that head of his right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm very, very happy that he's, you know, now I think he's already told me he wants to go cook more SCAs. And it'll give us something to do again together. And, you know, he did cook Saturday as well. And when we were talking about it on Saturday, I asked him, I said, hey, buddy, I said, you know, you did a wonderful job last night. I'm super proud of you. Win, lose, or draw. You know, I said, today it could go any way. I said, you had a great night last night. You know, I hope you win today, but, you know, there's always that chance you won't.
Yep.
And he just told me, he said, Dad, he said, as long as I can get fifth place, I'll be good.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, whatever, you know, and I honestly, I didn't know. I was doing I had a session going on inside. I wasn't able to go pick the steaks. He picked his own steaks. And when I got there, I was kind of leery about the steaks that he picked. You know, he had a lot better steak the first night. And, but when it came down to, you know, what we call a nut cutting, he actually did the same exact thing that he did.
Wow.
He turned out a wonderful product, and he wound up getting third.
Wow.
And because the first and second place, had already qualified for the finals, he actually got a golden ticket as well. So
wow.
He already made the finals on his second SCA cook.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, you got one. You got one.
I'm kind of proud. Yeah, I'm kind of proud.
Yeah,
So.
I would say so. Joey Machado, Sales and Marketing Manager for B&B Charcoal, the website, bbcharcoalproducts.com. Joey, appreciate the time tonight. And again, great to meet you in person and get to pal around a little bit out there last week.
Yep, same here. Look forward to it, and I hope we can do it again.
You got it. There he is, Joey Machado. B&B Charcoal, their sales and marketing guy right there.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
Wow.
Yummy.
Yeah, I'm hoping, and you can't do it justice until you see who competed, and of course I don't think there's a list of people that competed, especially in that first day cook. I mean, he did better the second day. But we're talking the likes of a Chris Lilly and a Sam Jones and a Kevin Coleman, on top of all the SCA guys that were there. 16-year-old kid whooping it up. Congratulations, Ty. Joey, you should be proud. I know you are. We'll keep up with the steak talk coming up out of the break. Let me talk to you quickly about Cook Shack, manufacturers of smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience. Whether you barbecue in the backyard, on the competition circuit, or in a 5-star dining facility, Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job. And with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, it's the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, Smokin' Grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. You can share your passion for all of your barbecue and grilling related stuff if you check them out on their Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. You can get advice and share your passion for barbecue on the World Class Barbecue Forum. They still have one of those. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers, the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion, Ed Fast Eddie Morin. The FEC 100, PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG 1000 doubles as a smoker and a grill. Cook Shack Residential Electric Smokers, if you're a fan of those. #1 smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being at the forefront. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or call or visit cookshack.com. All right, we're back with Brett Galloway right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Ready to get on the air? Call 216-220-0966. Now, let's get back to the LeBron James of barbecue talk. Greg Rempe.
All right, this portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your #1 source for quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com to purchase. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase if you want to. No problem. We can do that. Also, download their app and be alerted to the best, hottest, coolest new flavors of pellets that Cookin' Pellets are putting out here recently. Chris Becker and the gang blowing the lid off of the very foundations of the cooking pellet industry. Cookinpellets.com. All right, the State Cook-Off Association well into the 2018 season now. First quarter almost up. In fact, this weekend there were 6 events spanning not only this country but Australia as well. Here to talk about the events that took place this weekend, get us up to speed on what's coming up here over the next 3 and 4 weeks, is none other than one of the co-founders of the State Cook-Off Association, Brett Galloway, joining me here on the show. Brett, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. How about you?
Absolutely fabulous, Brett. Appreciate you taking the time to join me. And I know as we were corresponding today, you have been one busy steak cooking character, right?
It's been a long week. Of course, Ken was at the NBBQA conference all week, and I was in Melbourne, Australia. Running a class and a cook-off over there. So got home late last night and hit the ground running today. Good day.
Let's look at the international perspective here as state cook-off associations are going to go, because we have a lot to talk about locally, and when I mean locally, Fort Worth, since I was there as well at MBBQA. And I'm remiss in the fact that I didn't get a chance to meet Ken while we were there, but I was more or less holed up for 12 hours a day behind the bar there. But nevertheless, okay, that sounded really bad. Not behind the bar. I was in a room that was located behind the bar. Let's go ahead and get that clear out of the way. What's the international flavor of State Cook-Off Association like? I know you've spent a lot of time over in Australia. They seem to have really picked it up, much like the pickup or the popularity of Southern-style barbecue that has proliferated over there. The SCA has kind of done the same thing.
Well, I know you had Jess Prowls on a couple of weeks ago. She helped found the Australasian Barbecue Association.
Right.
And that's who brought us to Australia. And so they're on fire for all things barbecue, all things grilling. It's really exciting to go over there. It's very refreshing.
When you look at how the SCA is in the United States and how they're competing here, is there any contrast over in Australia, or would you be able to put on a blindfold and not be able to tell Americans they were in Australia or Australians they were in America?
Well, we're using a lot of the same products. There's guys cooking with Poncho and Lefties over there. There's guys cooking with Killer Hogs over there. So they're using a lot of the same products to cook with. I think the biggest difference is the steak. Their ribeyes are a lot leaner. Great steaks, a lot leaner. We're used to a little more fat marbling in America.
Is that just from a breeding standpoint, why that happens?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of their beef comes in from Tasmania. And so the grass-fed, the sea feeds the grass, and so it's a very interesting dry, or not leaner beef, I guess you'd say.
I thought
Great quality.
I thought Australia did a lot of their own beef production as well. I thought they were like competing with America as far as import.
No, this stuff actually, the stuff we've used the last couple times at Meat Stock is brought in from Tasmania.
The SCA is now in its 5th year, correct? We started the 5th year this year?
Yeah, just started the 5th year, so we're still around, still having fun, and hopefully the teams are having a great ride with it too.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems like it's growing like wildfire. It was all the talk at MBBQA as far as fun and exciting event and low barrier to entry, all the things we've talked about here in the past. This weekend, as I had mentioned in the open, 6 events, including the ones that you were at there in Melbourne, Australia. What events took place this past weekend?
Well, we had one, of course, the double in Fort Worth, and then we had a double also at 2 separate locations in Springfield, Missouri. And ironically, there were competing barbecue stores that had events on a Saturday and a Sunday.
It wasn't the same place?
No, it was at one was at one barbecue store and the other was at a different one.
Wow.
Pits and Grills and Countryside Barbecue.
How far away are they from each other?
They're about 4 miles apart.
Is that a conflict of interest to some degree or no?
Well, no. Actually, the guy from Pits and Grills, Nick, brought us to Springfield. Took a chance on us, brought us in, had a great time the first year, and I promised him we wouldn't do another event for another competitor in town for a year. And they actually, the 2 barbecue stores worked together on this and came to me and said, "Hey, can we do this? We'll do one day and one the next." So, it was their own doing. They actually set it up. So
could we? I'm gonna spitball right here on this show. Hold on a second. This could be a major spitball announcement. Let me run this.
Boy.
Let me run this concept by. Could we go to Cleveland? I'm already here, by the way. But we could come to Cleveland. We could have a steak cook-off competition. Let's say on a Friday on the east side of Cleveland. Then we could go to the west side of Cleveland the next day and have a cook-off. And then we could take the top. Let's say we had 50 teams on each side. We take the top 25 teams from the east side and the top 25 teams from the west side. We go right downtown to Burke Lakefront Airport, and we have a championship cook-off, a 3-day event. Could that happen?
Let's do it.
It
can happen for sure.
It can really happen, a 3-day cooking that culminates with an overall grand champion?
In Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow.
We can do it.
All right. Well, now I'm going to have to really think about that. I didn't know if I was going to, outstretch the legs there.
No, guys are chasing these points. The Pelican points chase is getting bigger and bigger, and we've got a big surprise to announce later in the year that will have something to do with that. But guys are chasing those points. So whenever there's 2 events in one town, they like it because you share hotels, save on costs, save gas. It's a win-win for everyone.
Brett, you said you had a major announcement coming up. Can I entice you with this?
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Yes, no?
No. Unfortunately, this
no!
This sponsor would not be appreciating me letting it fly.
Yeah, I get that. No doubt about it.
It's part of a big campaign for all of us.
So let's talk about MBBQA just for a second. What was Ken's overall evaluation of this particular? Has he been to other conferences over the years, or is this his first time?
Yeah, Ken and I have been for the last 4 years.
Okay.
We've been in the conference, and Ken was actually the chairperson for this conference. So he wore many hats. It was really our reps, Danny and Michelle, that ran the event for him. But he was running around taking care of fires like he always does. Probably got called the mayor.
Why did he said it was I was going to say, what was his evaluation of the week?
I thought it was a good conference. Things seemed to go off as planned. The cook-offs went very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
We got a compliment from someone that's been in the barbecue world for a very, very long time, and this person said that we had just brought fun back to cooking, which is probably the greatest compliment we could get from someone that's been around as long as this person in the industry.
Brett, are we invoking rule number 1 of the show, no names, please, or are we going to eventually unveil this person's name?
We'll eventually. I don't know if it was supposed to be common knowledge, but it meant a lot for me to hear it. I think that was more than anything.
You want me to start guessing, right? Is that what you want me to do? Okay, fine. I'll start guessing. Here we go. Number one. So I had a great time Friday night for the, I guess it was billed as like the celebrity steak cook-off, and then you had the the normal steak cook-off the next day, which I did not get to see any because I was doing live broadcasts there from 12 to 3 every day. But taking part in Friday night and getting to hang out with Pancho and Lefty Steaks, they kind of allowed me or I forced my way into their camp. And initially I just was kind of watching them prep, and they just kind of, talking to them a little bit. And then I realized, hey, you know what? Steaks are actually going to start getting put down. They got their fires going. They looked like they were sharing camp space with another team, actually. And I said, hey,
very common.
Let me video this. We'll do it Facebook Live, and we'll see what happens. Well, that 25 or 30-minute video turns into one of the most heavily watched videos I've ever posted on Facebook. And I don't want to just assume that every other team would have treated me with the same type of hospitality, but I don't know if you've seen the video yet, but literally Roland and Justin are in the middle of cooking, and I'm just asking them questions. Why do you have that steak tied up? What temperature are you pulling off at? Why did you just shut all the dampers down? What temperature are these grill grates at? Blah, 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 blah. And without missing a beat, like, they would turn away from what they were doing to look into the camera and explain fully what the mind thought was, or what the process they were doing was, or why they put tie around that steak and how they seasoned it, or what temperature they were cooking it to. And then they would just get back to going like business as usual. Plus, we got to see a situation where the grill ran a little hot, and how they were dealing with kind of a challenging situation and bringing the grill down to temperature and finally getting that steak turned in. It was kind of a very refreshing, and as you kind of alluded to, bringing the fun back into competition. It was a great half an hour, 45 minutes of total time that I got to spend with those guys. But really, and to use a bad pun, in the heat of battle, the fire was on, the time was on, the time was ticking, really. And they couldn't have been more hospitable, and the video was really cool. And just a bunch of great guys that I would assume that's kind of a microcosm of the cooks that you're bringing in at this competition.
It is a microcosm of SCA cookers. The guys are, we're under 10 by 10 awnings, or like you saw there, a lot of guys will share an awning.
Yep.
The gentleman that you were sharing with probably didn't have an awning because you came from the MBBQA conference, I'm guessing. I'm not sure who it was, but, they share with other guys out there. And for them to go through their whole process and let you film it, put it on Facebook. I mean, they've been great ambassadors, great champions. They won our world championship and got third the next year. And that third place was probably more impressive than their first place because, boom, they did it back to back. So, for those guys to do that, that's great. And, they're great ambassadors. We're very appreciative of them.
All right, now let me be critical just for 1 second here. And this has nothing to do with the cooks, but I have a growing concern that there might be a quick pace to get into that, what I call competition barbecue scene, where, over the last 5 or 6 years, there's been kind of a non-creative flavor profile that everybody seems to shoot for. And if you get outside of that, or people don't want to get outside of that because they're afraid they're going to get dinged, and it's very expensive to do competition barbecue. Now, the steak scene isn't necessarily to that level of cost yet. And maybe it'll never get there, to be honest. But here's what I saw on the celebrity steak cook-off night. Lot of people using PK grills. And I'd heard from a grill master, and I will call his name, was Brian Rapolo. And I said, hey, what do you think the percentage of cooks out here using grill grate, not the thing you put your meat on, but the actual grill grate brand of grill grates are? And he thought 90% of cookers out there were probably using grill grates. And I said, geez, so PK grills and grill grates. And so I guess where my high level concern is, do you see people kind of veering down into having to use one kind of cooker, and you have to use grill grates, and that the judges are seeing it so much that there is a non-realized bias being formed, that the judges are expecting to see the steak look like something on the outside? For example, the grill grates that the grill marks that the grill grates leave. And if they don't see that, subconsciously they might think they want to score that down because it's not what they're used to seeing.
That's a great question. The PK grills, the reason you see so many PKs is, A, they're a great grill. They're
For
one
sure.
of our sponsors,
Yep.
but they went in and offered some bounty. If you win, you'll get an extra $500. They did that 2 years ago, and they obtained quite a bit of loyalty, and they're great steak machines. So that, I understand that completely. The grill grates, I think Brian might have been off on his evaluation. I think he's probably closer to 92, 95%. That use the things because they're great products. But you'll also get guys that will turn them over and cook upside down and use them as a serving station rather than the lines on them. The event that we're speaking of, the NBCA, guy that won it 2 years ago cooked on, he cooked it in a cast iron skillet. So you can still win without him. I don't think, we're real careful in the meeting. Hey, appearance is the appearance of the steak. It does not have to have grill marks to be a beautiful steak. So, I know a lot of people use the grill grates. I have them on every grill I own because they're an incredible product.
Sure.
But you can still win without them. And, there's guys that, heck, we had a guy cook on a chimney. Well, he had a grill grate on top, but he cooked on a chimney, and he got fifth place. There's a lot of different ways that guys cook. And so that's kind of that any fire heat source. It really opens it up.
Brett, what's happening this week as far as steak cook-offs are concerned?
This is recover week. We had those events, and I was gone, Ken was gone, and so today I answered 843 emails that I had while I was gone this week.
Right.
Got that taken care of. We had 7 brand new events come in that we'll process in the next 2 days, and then we're back on the road again. This weekend we've got some big events coming up. We're in Ashburn, Georgia, which is great to have another Georgia event at the Fire Ant Festival. We're in Shawnee, Oklahoma with a KCBS event, and down in Crosby, Texas, as well as Memphis, Tennessee. So we're kind of back in 4 states. Wait a minute. There's a triple this weekend.
Somebody took my idea. If it's in Cleveland, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. This guy's we've got 3 events in 2 days.
Wow.
And they're doing ribeyes and tri-tip.
Nice.
Both days. So this is going to be a great event. It's actually a fundraiser for Operation Barbecue Relief. Sweet Swine of Mine's putting it on, calling it Steak Fest.
Nice. Brett Galloway.
So we actually have more events.
Yeah, it sounds like it's blowing up, continuing to gain popularity and steam. Brett Galloway from the Steak Cook-Off Association, the website, steakcookoffs.com. Brett, appreciate the time tonight, and we'll look for you again next month.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
You got it. There he is. Brett Galloway, Steak Cook-Off
All guests
Association.
appear via the Traeger Grills hotline. Yummy.
God, that's so loud in my ears. It's just got to be. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I finally got my normal earbuds back. You'd recall that I was pissed because when I had my ear surgery, I had to get the whole thing redone. They cut off part of my ears and my mold wouldn't fit anymore, so I had to get it remolded. Hey, speaking of Traeger Grills, they're one of the newest sponsors here on the show. Traeger Grills. Traeger wood-fired grills. You can visit them at TraegerGrills.com. You can check out the Pro Series line of cookers. You can check out the Timberline line of cookers as well if you're somebody that's looking for big capacity, big tech. Guess what? That Timberline's got exactly what you need. Make sure you hit up the website, get all your questions answered. If you have any questions, I can kind of answer them for you. But guess what? Traeger has all of the top line pitmasters in their arsenal ready to answer questions for you. Go to TraegerGrills.com and check it out. The Timberline is especially interesting because it has that blue smoke. I call it the blue smoke technology. So basically you're getting fresh smoke from the top being sucked down over the meat, and then it's being exhausted out of the back. It doesn't have that traditional smokestack. Now, maybe you don't need the top of the line Timberline. You can go Pro Series. Those are found a lot at the Ace Hardware type stores. Some of the other big box stores. I know Hartville Hardware has both lines as well here in Hartville, Ohio. You can check those out. Here's the benefit. Both of those make really good barbecue. So if you don't need top of the line or you don't want top of the line, Pro Series is right for you. Again, Traeger TraegerGrills.com. That's TraegerGrills.com. And we are happy to have them as sponsor of the show. Great seeing Chad Ward, Danielle Bennett, Doug Scheiding, Paul Shoddy, and the list goes on. Traeger Pros over there at NBBQA. All right, stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we are back, and we are rolling out here to set up. Quick segment stop here. Thanks again to Brett Galloway for joining me to go over steaks, and we're loading for the second hour. Stick around.
This is Brian Mayer, host of Hot Sauce Weekly, and you are listening to BCRN, all barbecue and grilling all the time.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Liberty, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we're in the second hour. Hey, welcome aboard. Folks, you have found the Barbecue Central Show. It's the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. And this show happens to take place in Cleveland, Ohio. It is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city and the barbecue capital of the North Coast. And let me tell you something. If you ever utter the words barbecue capital of the North Coast and you're in Fort Worth, Texas, in an Uber, they laugh at you. Granted, they don't understand what the hell I'm saying, but they hear barbecue capital, and if it's not followed by whatever city in Texas you're in, they are pissed. They obviously didn't know who I was. But that's all right. Not everybody knows that there is another barbecue capital outside of the Carolinas and Texas and Memphis and Kansas City. It's the barbecue capital of the North Coast. Where's the North Coast? Well, it's right here in Cleveland. You can't go any further north until you get in. That's the North Coast. Then there's the lake. So the coast on the lake is the North Coast. That's what I'm calling it. But the lady in the Uber at NBBQA laughed at me. Where are you guys from? Barbecue capital of the North Coast. Barbecue capital? Cleveland? Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio, not Texas or Tennessee. Is there a Cleveland, Tennessee? One of those. Cleveland, Texas, Cleveland, Tennessee, whatever. But I said Cleveland, Ohio, and then barbecue capital of the North Coast, and she had it at that point. I was surprised she didn't bounce me out of the cab, or the Uber, as it were. John Dawson weighing in, subject line, Rempeism. Here it is. And I quote, blowing the lid off the very foundations. That's great. That's one of my best ones. Blowing the lid off the foundations. Because before you pour the foundation, you put the lid on the ground, and then you pour foundation on the top of it. Some people might call those footers. I call it the lid. That's why I said blowing the lid off the foundations. Now, some of you might be thinking I would have been better served by, say, shaking the very foundations or things of this nature, but I think we all know me well enough by now to know that I'm going to be choosing my own words. I'm big enough. I'll choose my words that I want. So blowing the lid off of the foundations is what I'm going to use because that's how I think. Also, John weighing in, Remps, is it really a good thing that Aussies are apparently adopting the American homogenization of barbecue? He votes no. By the way, John, I concur with you on that. They are quickly adopting the way barbecue is being done over here. So, as I kind of lightly, and not that he has anything to do with it, took Brett Galloway to task on some items that may or may not concern me a little bit more than others. Like, Brad Barrett has to absolutely be licking the SCA right now because everybody, I mean, if 93% of a sanctioning body are using your product, that's a pretty good stranglehold. And I get it. You want to use products that are good, that you can count on, great quality. All of those things fit the bill when it comes to Brad Barrett's grill grates. Absolutely. Have a set of my own on my old Weber. I'm a fan. I said I'm a fan, not a man. I'm a man. So I'm not saying that it's like bad. All I'm saying is if you have, you see what I'm saying? You know you see what I'm saying. If somebody was new coming onto the scene, somebody would tell them, or at least 93 to 95% of cooks would tell them, you got to get grill grates. So are you going to be a cook that's going to decide to not use grill grates because maybe you don't want to spend a little extra money, or I don't know why. I can't give you a good reason. You like the grill grates that's on your grill right now? You like the grill grates that the Weber kettle has? The OEM grates? Who knows? Maybe you have a set of your own cast iron grill grates. Maybe use man grate. I don't know. But the concern is, what are you training the judges to look for? You can tell a judge, don't look for this. Don't count that. It doesn't matter if it has this or that. But they're humans and they have eyes and they see what is going in front of them. And if the majority of things that are going in front of them look like the same, what are they going to expect the next time? It's just human nature. So the concern is that they're getting more into a tunnel vision type situation much earlier than Competition Barbecue ever got. But again, easy point of entry. It's $250 to get in, more or less. You could win $1,000. It paid down. I think money started being handed out in 5th place at that celebrity contest. It was exciting, man. I'll be honest. It was very exciting. Still to come on the show, Tyson Traeger. That'll be next segment. Then I'll recap National Barbecue and Grilling Association's conference to close out the show. You know, in its 3rd week in the news cycle, if you can believe it, gravy in some form keeps emerging. And while I was at MBBQA last week, it sounded like, and he's in the chat room on YouTube, it sounded like longtime Centralite and proud Canadian Jason King teased me a picture of what appeared to be a potential video shoot of the Jeff Stone suggested booze teen dish. Yeah, baby. Jason, my man, do not tease me with this. Do not do that. Remember, the first person to send me video of a booze teen, which again, if you need clarification, 2 weeks ago, Mike Lang was on from Another Pint, Please. He talked about how he had just recently come across poutine. He said he didn't get to Canada a lot. I don't get to Canada ever, but I knew what poutine was because it's delicious. It's French fries that I love. It's gravy that I love. It's bacon put on that over cheese curds. How don't you know about that? People in New Mexico know about poutine. It's delicious. Anyway, he had just found out about it. Then I did a rant at the top of that next hour about KFC encouraging its customers to make gravy-laced cocktails. Then the week after that, last week, there was a shortage of gravy. because you people were drinking too many gravy-laced cocktails. And then, wouldn't you know it, Kinger's got a video up on the tweeter with a picture of booze and gravy and french fries and cheese curds saying, you have fun at your NBBQA. I'm going to make the booze team. I love that. So remember this, the first person to send me video of a real booze teen, and you're eating it, or a cocktail being made with gravy. Here's the best case scenario. Booze teen food, gravy cocktail chaser. You get to lead a show. I will quickly intro the show, and no matter how long that video is, as long as it's within, 6 minutes, keep it tight, you will lead the show. I will give you the announcement or the intro. Barbecue Central show, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. This is how you get in touch with the show. And here's the booze teen video. And by the way, that guy that's making that booze teen is washing down the booze teen with a gravy-laced Manhattan or gravy-laced margarita or whatever it is you want to put gravy in the drink. I will run the video 2 weeks in a row if you put gravy on ice and drank straight gravy cocktail. Barkeep, I'll take gravy neat. That's what I want. Gravy neat. So, Kinger, I know you hear me calling you out. You did it to yourself. You posted a picture. You had all weekend to come with Booze Teen. I'm going to allow editing, okay? I'm going up. So, hey, let's do this. I'll give you editing time. I'm going to give you space. I just know you did not tease me with Booze Teen. I know you're going to make it happen. You're going to deliver it like a newborn. And you will lead the show. I'm pumping you up. Come on, Kinger. Don't let me down, bro. All right, Tyson Traeger coming up out of the break. Let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online shop for anything barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Ball. From award-winning rubs and sauces to American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa has something for everybody. If you're a backyard fanatic, if you're a competition pro, we have something for you. How about their championship rubs and seasonings? Flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition and backyard scene. Big Papa's has 13 perfectly balanced flavors that will transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. Whether you're cooking to impress judges or friends, Big Papa's has award-winning rubs and seasonings that just won't disappoint. Also, they've teamed up with Simply Marvelous to form the West Coast offense. Over the past few years, West Coast has cornered the market and redefined the flavor profile that cooks across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa's also has online exclusive for Simply Marvelous rubs. Stop by and pick up some today. They're also the proud owner of Granny's award-winning barbecue sauce. If you're looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everyone, Granny's traditional yet powerful flavor that reminds us why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. You can find Granny sauce and other top sauces at BigPapaSmokers.com. And aside from their premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa Smokers offers the very best pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers available today. Looking for an easy-to-use smoker? How about the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill? Big Papa Smokers is the exclusive Mac dealer and even offers special packages. Not a fan of pellet smokers? Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. And if you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill is just what you need. They're built like tanks. I saw them in person. They're built like tanks. Not sure what kind of grill you need? You can't go wrong with any of the grills or smoker features at BigPapaSmokers.com. They have something for every kind of backyard cook. It's clear that Big Papa Smokers is the place to go for all things barbecue. Everything featured on their website has been hand-selected to help you barbecue better. Boost your barbecue skills with the help of Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online barbecue store in the Forevers. You can call them toll-free at 877-828-0727 or shop their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. All right, Tyson Traeger coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Championship Pitmasters are winning with Smithfield, and you can too. Commit to cooking with Smithfield this 2018 barbecue season. You will receive smoke and swag for participating. There's only a few requirements to sign up. Pay a small shipping fee of $25. And be a member of one of the sports sanctioning bodies. Be sure to come back and track your first place pork finishes and ribs with the Walkin' with Smithfield incentive program. Once a Smithfield committee cook, show your Smithfield pride by hashtagging Show Us Your Smithfield, limited to 500, so get there first. All right, my first guest in the second hour is bringing a brand new idea to the outside patio heater market and outdoor cooking segment. If you're a fan of wood pellets and you troll the web for the latest and greatest pellet items, you might have seen this one already, but if you haven't, we're here to talk about wood pellet products. And first timer to the show, Tyson Traeger joining me. Tyson, how are you, buddy?
Howdy. I'm doing great this Tuesday evening.
Appreciate you making time here, Tyson, and a lot of items to get to here this evening. I guess before we start rolling down the product lines, because we have kind of two definitive segments that I wanted to touch on, the heaters and the grills, or the portable cookers, or whatever you call them there, that are really cool looking. Little background about yourself. I mean, I would imagine that I'm not going out on too much of a limb. You see your last name, you think of pellets, you think of Traeger cookers. Could it be coincidence that your last name is just Traeger and you're into this thing, or is there some type of a lineage?
Most people have blood going through their veins. I have pellets.
You came out of a baby pellet, right?
Yeah, little baby pellet, probably alder. Started out as alder. Now I'm more cured as mesquite, I think.
Absolutely incredible. Tyson Traeger joining me here on the show. So you obviously kind of, so did you come up in the family business, or were you just kind of around it in an ancillary degree?
Of course. Traeger started out as a small family business. It was no more than my grandfather and his brothers on a pipe dream. They, obviously had their work cut out for them in the beginning when you're bringing a new product forth to the world and nobody has any clue what it is and how it works. And that's the battle. The battle is going out, hitting the pavement, and really being everything passionate about what you're doing, and that's it. You got to believe in your product. And I'm bringing that forth with my new business, Wood Pellet Products, and our new stuff. But back in the day, it was my dad essentially having his kids out there on the street handing out chicken legs. And that's what made Traeger. It became known as a household name only, 15, 20 years later. So really the hard work in the beginning came from, yes, all of the family members, cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody out there doing their part.
It's certainly a leading brand out there, probably the leading brand out there in the pellet market. Are you surprised that, well, I guess it would be two ways. Are you surprised where the pellet market is now, or are you surprised that it isn't bigger than it is now?
My wife just cooked a pork loin for dinner. She don't cook. So, the ability to allow these women and these people that are inexperienced cooks to hop on a barbecue and make something incredible, that's what a pellet grill does for you. And there's no way around it. Anybody that's had it off of one of these grills, they're going to believe you, and they're going to become a believer, and they're going to want one themselves. And that's what's happening. Everybody's getting the taste, and they're, once they have a little chicken leg, they're done.
Tyson Traeger joining me here on the show, woodpelletproducts.com, the website if you want to check it out here while we're chatting it up. You seem to be quite an outdoorsman, Tyson. Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, no, our whole family, that's kind of where the whole wild game side of the business comes from. My grandfather back in the day, invented a lot of products that never made it to the market, and a lot of those revolved around the outdoors. My family, avid bird hunters. I grew up deer hunting and elk hunting, and later on in life becoming more of a fisherman. Of course, the outdoors, I think, and pellet grilling and just fire in general, all connect. And that's what we're after. We're after that demographic that likes to get outside.
So as you are living that outdoor lifestyle and, maybe you're into camping or you figure you got to eat and you want to stay warm, are all of these products that you have out now kind of in your brain and you're thinking, hey, I'm cold. If I had this kind of item with me, or I could cook on this kind of an item because it's portable, it would make my outdoor lifestyle a little bit more enjoyable, and you decided to start working on those products?
Yeah, plain and simple. If I could basically invent the Traeger grill over again, I would. But it's been done, right? So what's the next step for me? For me, that business disappeared when the family sold Traeger.
Yeah.
And so the next step is, all right, take what I know and let's apply it to something that I need. And honestly, for me, the number one thing was heat. I have these big hands. I was a quarterback in high school, right? My hands, cold games, they just didn't work,
yep.
Right? And so there's a lot of dudes out there like that they need that little extra comfort to get them outdoors. They don't have the ability, to bring these giant propane heaters with them, or buy these big catalytic heaters. This is just a simple, easy, portable option for people that need heat. And a gravity feed system that I designed, now we're 7 years in, and it is refined. It is awesome. Basically, you can just continue to use and use and use this product without it fluctuating temperature, and it burns clean the entire time. That's the gift, from being able to R&D something in this country, making a product in this country. You get to redefine your product over and over again, and making it better and better each round. And so now we got something awesome to offer the public. And these timber heaters, yes, they get hot. That's what we're selling. We're selling heat.
Tyson, let's go ahead and break it down a little bit for the folks that maybe haven't seen them, or they're just tuning in for the show for the first time. Are you able to kind of paint a picture of how they look and how they're operating?
Yeah, so our goal was to basically try and mimic a propane patio heater. Aesthetically, we're trying to match it so people, when they see it, they know that it's a patio heater. Second, our primary concern is heat, right? If we're going to be a heater company, we need to make sure that we do something that nobody else does. And so we focus on how much can we basically get out of this product, BTU-wise. And so we crank that thing up. We start at the top, and then we back down. And that is what we've built our product around. It's built on the concept of the product, which is maximum BTUs. So with that, you get a very well-built product, quality built, because it has to withstand high temperatures. But aesthetically, you get a really nice-looking product because you got mostly stainless steel components throughout the unit. You have a nice, tall, long neck like you do on a propane patio heater with a top reflector. And then at the bottom is your firebox. And that's where typically you would use a propane bottle. But in this case, our power is wood pellets. And so on the back side, you have a hopper. And that hopper, you lift open the lid and pour the pellets in. They funnel themselves down into what we call a fire pot. Mm-hmm. And you do manually light this product, but you simply open a door and fire gel or charcoal lighting fluid onto the pile of pellets, light a match, and shut the door. And essentially, the product's design is by Venturi effect. And for people that don't know what that is, the way a hot air balloon goes up in the sky, right, is a matter of changing the ambient temperature by 15 degrees, in fact, for a hot air balloon to go up. So what's happening is you're creating velocity from hot air. Mm-hmm. And by putting it in a restricted pipe, so for us, it's a 6-inch diameter pipe. Essentially, a normal stove pipe is what people would remember it as, coming out of a wood stove. And that creates what we call the Venturi effect, when the hot air goes through that. And we're utilizing that natural draft that's created by that heat going through the pipe to allow air coming in through the fuel, a lot like a forge. And so we've been able to refine this process and engineer it to the point where the fuel can continue to burn, new fuel can continue to enter in. It's basically just a log jam when the pellets are burning, they're reducing in size, right? They're
Yep.
turning into ash. And so more pellets are then able to fall into place. And it's just a consistent cycle. Temperature comes from a little damper dial on the front. You basically get a high and a medium temperature. But I'll tell you what, everybody, they're always burning it on high because nothing compares, right, to that wood stove that you're backing up to, and you're feeling that heat on your legs. And it makes all the difference in the world when you're using wood for heat.
When I'm on the website and you do the side-by-side comparison of whether it's is it the big timber or the little timber or the large timber and the small timber, whatever it is, you can see it looks like you're using some type of a FLIR type of a thermal camera. You
Thermal
can see,
image.
yeah. So you got the thermal image, and so my wife bought me a propane outdoor patio heater for Christmas. This was about a month before I found the the little timber, of course, and it's if the wind isn't blowing, the top of my head gets pretty hot. And if I'm standing just a little bit outside of that reflector thing, I might get some heat on like mid-chest. And that's about it. If I stand too close, the top of my head really gets hot because I'm bald. But, from hips down, whatever the weather is, that's kind of where it is. The heat is mostly torso up. But when you look at your thermal image, you have heat coming out of the base unit. And then you also can see it coming, it looks like it's radiating out of the top of the tube and then from the reflector shield as well. So you have more of an overall heat component, it seems like.
Right. You're thinking, a propane heater, great conceptual idea, right? Heat the outdoors. To fact, actually in Europe, propane heaters were banned because there's yet to be an alternative. Now we are the new alternative to Europe. We just entered Europe. But there was a ban on propane patio heaters that couldn't be enforced. Now there is. The reason for this ban is because propane patio heaters, basically they're saying the amount of fuel that's spent in one night or 8 hours worth of use is enough to heat a home for a week.
Wow.
And so they're saying the carbon emissions and the waste of fuel is just ridiculous. So if you just think common sense, what do we use to warm ourselves, when we're outside in the woods?
Yeah, fire.
It's a campfire.
Yep.
And that's on the ground. And we can understand that and we can feel it. And it just makes sense. So for us to enter this world as an alternative to propane patio heaters, we have to come out loud. And the biggest one is heat. And that's what's going to get people's attention. But there's so many more benefactors. The ecological benefactor, economical because of the fuel cost is so much less. You're really talking a quarter of the operating cost versus propane.
And this is these are heat pellets. They're not food grade wood pellets like a lot of us would know. Yeah, right.
That's right. So typically you'll find a 40-pound bag in usually a farm and feed store or any hardware store. For $4 to $5 a bag for 40 pounds.
Wow.
So you're really getting a lot of fuel for very little money. And then we stretch that fuel obviously through the duration of how long you're sitting in front of the heater. A typical bag will last 8 hours. So you're under your basic pennies on the dollar versus when you're using a propane heater and you're spending a couple of bucks an hour. So restaurant owners in particular are really going to find our new big timber the answer for their commercial applications, and that's for us. That's a big strategy because that's going to allow the public to see our product.
What kind of a price point are we looking at between a little timber and a big timber?
So about $200, and what we're going to offer for the show that we have today, we're going to give you a coupon code. And it's barbecue for you, and that's a 20% off our website.
Really?
So that's going to be only good to people listening to your show.
That's BBQ, the number 4 and the letter U?
That's correct.
Wow, 20% off. That's unbelievable.
And they can go on today and get that right now.
That's unbelievable. Totally unexpected. I appreciate that, man.
Yep, you're welcome. So, we're really in the mode of trying to get this product out there. And the best thing that we got going for us is the word of mouth that's taken off with our product. People love hanging out around their grills. They love using our product to help, bring people around, bring people together. So it's all about community. That's what we're here for.
Tyson, I'm in the mindset that bigger is better. Is it okay if I wanted to put a big timber on my backyard instead of a little timber?
Well, it's all about BTUs. So most guys are, really trying to figure that out themselves when they're making that difference between the little and the big. The biggest difference is going to be heat. You're talking an extra 12,000 BTUs, and that translates essentially 2 feet further. So a little timber will reach about 10 feet away from the heater. So 10-foot radius from the heater is where you will stop feeling heat.
Wow.
On a big timber, you would feel it from 12 feet away. And so you do get that much more of a spread, about 200 square feet more. But the ambience, you have 3 times the size of glass window. So you've really got a big old ripping fire in there, and you can see the whole thing on a big timber. Little timber, a little bit smaller windows. And then burn time, 3.5 hours on a big timber, 1.5 hours to 2 hours on a little timber. And we do offer what we call hopper extensions, so you can reach these long durational uses like for commercial applications.
Is there a lot of assembly that needs to be done here? Because to be honest, I'm not very handy.
No, we go through the process of what we call PEMing our parts. So all you need to do is go in and insert the bolts into the holes and just tighten them up. So there's no holding a nut behind holes and whatnot. And we also provide a YouTube video so you can hop on there and follow through instructions.
The other side, by the way, if you're totally aghast and you need to get over to that website and use the coupon code BBQ, the numeral 4 and the letter U, get you 20% off today if you're listening here. So the other side is the cookers. And, these things look like you just took an old-timey kitchen stove to a certain degree and brought it outside. You can cook on the top. There's a grill. There's a flat top. It's pretty cool looking. And an oven.
You got it. At the beginning of the conversation, when you're trying to figure out what to call that thing, I tell you the truth, Greg, we still haven't figured out what to call that thing. We are focusing this summer. We're changing our marketing tactics to call it more of a camp stove. It's like an old wood cook stove, but mini, right?
Yep.
We love the fact that you can cook on the top of it. That, to me, has really been my favorite part of the grill. Griddles, pots, pans, doing the skillet. There's all kinds of interactive things that you can cook when you have a cooktop available. So instead of running inside and doing that on the oven while we're all out on the grill, which is where we want to be, you can put a gravity grill right next to your pellet grill and be able to cook all those veggies and, keep a piece of meat warm while you're trying to cook something else. And it's just this interactive tool that, yes, goes right next to a pellet grill, not necessarily to replace it, but the biggest factor is that it is non-electric. The same components that are in our patio heaters that are patented are also inside of the gravity grills. We're talking about a pellet grill that does not use electricity. So there's a lot going on inside of technology-wise inside of the gravity grills, but component-wise, it's the same as a patio heater. But we do allow other fuels to be burned in our gravity grills. We make them so they can accept real wood, charcoal, and pellets. So you're not limited when you decide that, I want to cook a steak over an open fire and, do something different. It's something that people just don't have the option with their current cooking appliances outside.
And you said these are all made here in the USA as well?
They're made 100% here in the USA,
Wow.
and they're made especially by Oregonians that we don't want to associate outside of essentially the state. We're trying to keep everything. We're trying to build this business on an Oregon business, right? So we're trying to focus on a lot and all of our components coming from Oregon. There are some things like our grills that go inside our ovens that cannot be manufactured in state, but our focus is putting everything that we can on this grill made in this state.
Tyson, let me ask you
not just this country.
Let me ask you 2 follow-up questions in regards to that. Anybody that is in manufacturing always wants to build stuff here, right? You live here, you want to put people to work here. You want to provide a quality product, and I think anything that's built in the United States synonymously has a certain quality level that goes along with it. But then there's how competitive am I in the market? And, could I potentially go offshore with it, build something that's kind of close and be able to come back with something that might be whatever is a little bit more affordable or whatever is deemed a little bit more affordable. Do you ever worry about staying in country and how that is going to affect the price point, or not even a consideration?
Yeah, it all goes back to my family. My family never wanted to manufacture overseas. The business was brought up in the 80s, and it wasn't a thing. You didn't make things, overseas. We built them here.
Yep.
And so, and later on when this company was sold, the decision was to continue manufacturing in the U.S., and they did. They tried it for a little while. And then they said, oh, no, we're a big business. What do? We go make money. And that's where China comes in. But the difference for me, Greg, is you got to think about it a little bit deeper. Do you really want to be cooking your prized piece of meat that you got from the local butcher, that got from a local cow, on something some Japanese guy or Chinese guy that you don't know has anything to do with what you're cooking on your grill? No. You want to cook your food on something that was well built, is going to help support a neighbor, because cooking for your family is essentially everything to everybody.
Yeah.
That's what we live for, is meals and food and that time together. So, no, I don't like things manufactured in China. I know it's, in the big corporate world, something that they feel is impossible, but our president just made a big decision. It affects me really negatively, right off the bat, because it does put a huge damper on our margin. Our metal increases over the last period have just been ridiculous,
yeah.
And it has hurt us, really, really beyond what somebody, just a normal consumer, would be able to understand, because those prices for bigger companies won't get hit until, say, a year, 6 months down the road, because they're able to absorb some of these increases. They're able to amorate these future costs into, these products. But, it'll come in time. We'll see what happens with all that. Probably what you would expect is, the class like barbecues and other metal products, the price is increasing.
Mm-hmm.
But until, that evens out, yeah, there's a game out there. It's people don't want to spend, more than what they can afford. And right now, a lot of people can't afford, more than that $400 or $500 grill. But you're really going to get what you pay for. And that's what people have to understand is, they're able to cut costs in other countries because they are reducing materials. They are cutting corners. And they don't really care about their customer because they're not in their country. And so for us, it's everything opposite of that. We make it great. We make it because we're proud of it. We know people are going to love it, and we're going to stand behind it. And that's what people want. People want to know where it came from, how it was built, and the story behind it. And eventually we'll get to that point where people really start to understand what that means.
Yeah, it's
and we're slowly getting there.
It's kind of like what people are now with their meat. They want to know where it was from, how it was raised, how it's dispatched. It's all kind of coming full circle now, especially in the manufacturing as well. From a traction point, Tyson, how is the business running? How are you distributing? Is it all through internet? How are you looking to grow here over the next couple of years?
So our first 5 years were really difficult, right? You're inventing the product, you're trying to refine it, you're trying to get people to carry it, and you don't have the margins. You don't have the margins because you're trying to offer the product at a fair market value. They're comparing our product right now to that cheap $150 propane patio heater at wherever, Target or wherever. So for us, we have to sell we have to sell the difference.
Yep.
We have to sell the necessity, and that's heat. And now that we've got 4,500 heaters out there, there's all these people turning them heaters on, and how many people are being affected by that? So all of a sudden, our business is rolling, and we did take a direct approach last year, selling direct, trying, it's the Wild West of the internet. Everybody's trying to figure out if they're going to be able to make it or not as a manufacturer in the small business world. And you see companies like Mac, going direct, and those are big. That's a big deal. And so we are small enough that we were able to experiment a little bit with that without hurting the existing dealers that we do have. And we had a lot of success with that. We planted a lot of seeds out there is the way we looked at it. And now we are rolling, and we have to allow the product to get in position, and that is on the floor. So we opened the doors back up to wholesale, and we're seeing a ton of guys come right ahead, right on in the doors. And it's great because that essentially is opening up all these other doors for us. That's going to lead us. Essentially, we want to be back in every mom and pop shop that I myself called on when I was a 20-some-year-old kid trying to get Traeger grills on everybody's block. And that's a good experience for me too. I love talking to, all of these mom and pop stores that have been around forever. They're such good people, and they have that sense of pride where they want to sell something that's made local, made in the U.S., and something they can stand behind. So it's fun. It's fun getting back in that game.
Tyson, let me ask you one last question. I appreciate the time tonight. When I fire up the liquid propane heater that my wife got me, if the wind blows even delicately, the heat gets wiped away. So straight shooting, don't lie, bring it to us straight, live and direct here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city. If it's windy outside, is it affected substantially?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me tell you what we've done to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
All right.
And what I mean by happen, I mean tip over and ruin your patio heater. We designed our product to be portable. Part of the benefit of a fireplace or a campfire, is that warmth is created where you are. But with something portable like this patio heater, that means that you go to the tailgate, you go to the Christmas party, you go to the Halloween patch, wherever you're going, you have this ability to bring this heater with you. I've never heard of a propane patio heater being portable. Once they're assembled, essentially that's it. Yep. They're in place.
Yep.
And so for us, that's a big difference in our product. But we also did just come out with a new safety cage. It's on our Elite versions. It's also available as an accessory. It reinforces the stability of our stovepipe and also makes it so you cannot touch that stovepipe, which would get hot if you did touch it. So we've done the precautionary things to make sure that our product can withstand anything over 20 miles an hour. Otherwise, we recommend get the casters and roll that thing up against the house.
You have a code to use tonight. It's BBQ, the numeral 4, the letter U, get you 20% off of your orders. How long is that code good for, Tyson?
We'll let that run for the next week.
Next week. All right. So we got 7 days. So next Tuesday it'll expire. I'll keep reminding you guys to take advantage of that. We are talking with Tyson Traeger, the website, woodpelletproducts.com, breaking down the heaters and the cookers for us this evening. Tyson, really appreciate the time this evening. Great to get to know you, and I'll look for you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Grab.
You got it.
Pleasure having me.
There he is. Did you just catch that right at the end? It was a pleasure having him. Yes, it was, Tyson. Yes, it was. That's something I would say. It's a pleasure having me. Yeah, it was. That was good energy right there. I appreciate that. 20% off coupon. I'm going to take advantage after the show. I'm going to get the big timber. I can tell you that. The code BBQ, the number 4, the letter U, woodpelletproducts.com. 20% off your order for a week. I will hit you up on the social medias. It will be great. Take advantage if you get it. Set it up and let me know. I mean, I just want to get it to compare it against that propane cooker, if I'm going to be honest. Tyson Traeger, if you need him. Wood pellets, woodpelletproducts.com. It was a pleasure having him. Hey, I'm going to talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. That's right, some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. 3 different models to choose from on the cooker side, right? You got Jim Bowie, you got Daniel Boone, that's the medium size. You got Davy Crockett, that's the tailgater / portable version. If you are a portable person and you like the portable version, you're going to really like the Davy Crockett because this thing plugs into your 12-volt. You can also run extension cords if you need to, and, because you don't want to run a huge cooker and you want to get it away from the house or whatever. Extremely portable. Then you have the mid-size, the Daniel Boone. This one, you could probably get 4 or 5 pork butts in there if you don't pan them. Probably 3 if you pan them. Jim Bowie, bigger than that. You can probably get 6 without 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, maybe 7, maybe 8 pork butts, depending on size. If you pan them, maybe 6. It also can come with that full-size half rack as well, so you can actually increase cookie capacity. Now, the Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone also can accommodate the high-heat pizza oven insert. You rip out the guts, the grill grates, and the deflector pan, and then you move away the heat, that initial heat deflector, and now we have something special. You can put that pizza insert right on top of the burn pot, then put on the pizza stone, then you drop the dome on it, set that cooker to 350 degrees. You got 700 degrees on the stone. Basically, whatever you're at on the cooker, double it, and that's where you're at on the stone. I prefer mine around that 610, 615 type of time frame, or heat range, I mean. Green Mountain Grills can supply you with pellets as well to fire those cookers, so check them out. Pizza oven insert. If you're going to get the Jim Bowie or the Daniel Boone, just add on the pizza oven insert immediately. Bite the bullet. Get it all. You're going to thank me 100 times over. There's nothing more fun than barbecuing one day and then setting up Pizza Party Willie for the next day. You can make pizzas in 2-3 minutes, depending on how hot you got it. Again, I prefer to set my cooker around 310, 315. Gets me that 620, 630 on the stone. I find that gives me good product. But you just hit up greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com, and check everything out. We'll be back to talk about NBBQA right after this. Stick around.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via the Bluetooth. And if you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're lucky, because Fireboard fully integrated with both. Plus, they're learning new skills each and every day. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com. That's Fireboard, fireboard.com, or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Fireboard. All right, now let me give you your NBBQA recap, the IM Barbecue 2018 convention, or the NBBQA convention that took place last week. Actually, I was leaving on my way to Fort Worth, Texas. It'll be a week ago tomorrow. Got on the jet old airplane around 1700, landed in Fort Worth, 1900 local, so pretty quick trip, all things considered. Went right from the airport over to the facility, which was the River Ranch Stockyards. Now, for those of you that have never been to Fort Worth, Texas, and don't know where the River Ranch Stockyards are, it's on 23rd Street, just outside of town, in the Stockyards, the historic Stockyards. I've never been, so my first time in. The venue, holding everything else aside, if you have a barbecue and grilling convention or some type of a barbecue or grilling function, and I've never been to a National Barbecue and Grilling Association conference ever in my life, I don't know if you could find a more apropos location than the River Ranch Stockyards. You walk in, it's got a very rustic feel. You have a big reception area where they were building breakfast and lunch every day. That led you into the main presentation room, very big, kind of a big ballroom, if you will. Looked like you could have some pretty cool wedding receptions in there. They had a big full bar off to one side, and then behind that full bar, which I had just referenced when I was talking to Brett Galloway in the beginning of his segment, there was an additional room. I'm not sure exactly what that room is for. I don't know if that was like a boardroom or extra storage room for things that they need fairly quickly. They just stick them in there. But that ended up being what was termed the green room for all of the luminary barbecue podcasters, webcasters, talk show hosts, and or otherwise. And that was a very nice thing that the National Barbecue and Grilling Association did for us. I don't know a lot of other organizations that are live fire related that necessarily see the value yet or understand the value yet of what podcasting is and does. I don't know if there's a lot of barbecue related stuff just because, you know, from an age demographic, I don't think I'm speaking out of school here when I say that, you know, the majority of people that are in barbecue right now are not young. So with that probably comes not a full understanding of where digital media is today and where technology is today. Just because you have a smartphone does not mean you Andrew, you are not the father. It doesn't mean that you are on the cutting edge of technology. So the fact that Stuart Meyer, Angela Iverson, and there were some other barbecue shows that I think were kind of integral in pushing the organization to really see the value. I don't think I was probably one, maybe I was a small portion, but Behind the Smoke, Barbecue War Stories, and Best Barbecue Show, I believe, were more in that special interest group and were able to kind of push that agenda of value. So we got our own room. We were able to set up there and do our shows. It was pointed out to me by Tennessee embedded correspondent Steve Ray that in the last 7 days, the Barbecue Central show, let me get my calculator out here. So last Tuesday, I did a 2-hour show. Then Thursday, I did a 3-hour show. Friday, 3-hour show. Saturday, 3-hour show. We're back here on Tuesday, a 2-hour show. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 3 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 2 is 13. Carry the 1. I did 758 hours of live barbecue television over the last 7 days. That is my math. I am good at math, especially addition razor sharp. In the last 7 days, as I conclude here in the next 9 minutes, I will have done 13 hours of live broadcast barbecue and grilling related talk. Not recorded. Live barbecue and grilling talk to include 3 3-hour shows. Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week. I got to tell you, it was, you know, I'm not a huge convention guy, but when I'm allowed to cover the industry that I'm passionate about, when I'm allowed to get down there and immediately see Myron Mixon, immediately get in touch with Harry Sue from Slap Yo Daddy, who I haven't seen in years, to reacquaint with Brad Orson from The Shed, from with Shane Draper and Mark Graham from Grilla Grills, Paul Shoddy, meet him in person from Head Country, who's been on this show. I've never met him in person before. I get to meet him. And then from a live show perspective, I get to hang out with the likes of Sterling Smith from Loot and Booty, who does the show on Wednesday. I get to open up with the guys from Code 3 Spices, that first guests out of the gate. Are you kidding me? Then I get to end the first day's interview with Mike freaking Mills. 45-minute interview. Retrospective. Where can you go back and learn about Mike Mills, the youth, and where his love for live fire cooking came from and how he built that into 17th Street Barbecue? Oh, by the way,
a Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Mike Mills' first business, not barbecue, dentures. Dentures. 1962, Mike Mills started his professional career providing false teeth. Next news flash, that business a few miles away from 17th Street Barbecue operating this very day. The legend has been in the tooth business longer than the barbecue business. Just in case the barbecue thing didn't work out, he was falling back on that. Then on Thursday, I'm sorry, that was Wednesday, that was Thursday. Then on Friday, we lead the show with Kick-Ash Basket. Then we go to, oh, okay, I'm gonna get out of sorts here. So let me get my calendar up, make sure that I'm properly doing this. All right, so we had Chris from Code 3, Mike Mills, Sterling Smith. Then on Friday, we led off with Chris Lilly. Yeah. Then we went to Sean Walchef. Then we went to Linda Orson, former NBBQA president, and who was widely considered to be the one who has really righted the ship or provided a new laser-focused direction for NBBQA to go in. Great interview. A little bit of knowledge about Linda Orson that has nothing to do with barbecue. 2 revelations in as many days. Linda Orson's a professional clown. Really. Not like make you laugh, although she'll make you laugh. Professional clown. Mike Mills sells dentures. Mama Shed is a clown. Really. Revelations. Sean Walchef from Behind the Smoke podcast. Got to talk to him about his show. And his partner Derek, how they hooked up, how they started the show, why they wanted to start the show, how he took his breakfast-only restaurant, converted it into a barbecue/sports entertainment bar and restaurant. That was a great second day. Learned a lot the second day. And then the third day, led it off with none other than Jess Pryles, Hardcore Carnivore. This book is out, by the way, if you want to check it out. Then we moved to my main man, my Mile High Pards, GQ, Jason Ganal from GQ Barbecue, laid it down. And then closed it out with Kel Phelps and Doug Scheiding, embedded Texas correspondent. Couldn't not do a segment with Dougie. In his backyard, he was there with Team Traeger, so pulled him off. You can go back. If you didn't get the shows live, they're on my Facebook page, and they are in the podcast feed. So if you haven't subscribed to the show, I mean, what are you waiting for? You can get 9 additional hours of the Barbecue Central show last week. 9 additional hours. Then, meeting fans. People coming up to me. Are you Greg Rempe? Yep. Hey, I love your show. I'm very happy that you do this show. I listen to it on the way to work. People from Texas, people from Chicago. I think my guy, was it Brian from California? People from all over. Blowing my mind that they listen to the show. It was unbelievable. And in the grand scheme of things, I think it goes off without a hitch. It's very well put together. It allows the digital media folks to get together. Got to spend a lot of time with Yanni and Stover from Best Barbecue. Let me tell you something. Yanni's mustache is the real deal. That thing is a tickler now. I'm not even lying. Stover is a character putting together that show, but very excited to hang out with those guys and kind of forge some media relationships there. So there could be a lot of in-kind stuff going on behind the scenes that you may or may never know about. But we are affirmed to push the barbecue agenda, and we're going to bring all of you kicking and screaming, whether you like it or not. So thanks to Stuart Meyer, thanks to Angela Iverson, thanks to Linda, thanks to everybody involved with NBBQA that allowed us to come out and take part and cover that convention last week. By and large, a success. A lot of work for me. Not a lot of partying or anything like that. A lot of get in the hotel room and edit stuff. A lot of recorded audio stuff. A lot of doing live show stuff, which was all part of it, I guess. Not a lot of hang out, go to the bar, and get est-faced stuff. Didn't do that a lot. Or all. But it was worth it. When you're going to work, you put in the work. 13 hours is going to conclude right now. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Again, thanks to Stuart Meyer and everybody over at MBBQA for letting the show come and hang out and broadcast from there. Hopefully you got value out of it, because I did. Hey, we always believe that outdoor cooking should be easy. Well, the Barbecue Guru can make it easier than ever before with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition Grill. The Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control, greater freedom with automatic control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pitmaster. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill and can serve the tastiest, juicy meals each and every time. We call that consistency. By the way, if you have an existing Barbecue Guru pit temperature control controller, you don't have to buy anything else. The Monolith Grill comes with a fan built in. Hook up the controller, and you are off and running. By the way, brand new product from Barbecue Guru, the Rib Rack Ring, or the Rib Ring. Check it out. They're selling out. I think he's getting new rings in next week, or maybe it was Thursday. I forget what Bob told me about on the email, but genius concept. He said they were flying off the shelves last week after he introduced it. The Rib Ring. Check it out. Barbecue Guru. That's bbqguru.com, or call 800-288-GURU. And we're back to wrap the show right after this.
This is Huck Jr., the host of In the Hut, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Email from John Dawson. Subject line, live where? Rems, congrats on the Herculean live broadcast effort last week. I have one small question. Where would a guy have seen or heard the aforementioned shows? What are you talking about, John? I only mention it every Tuesday on this show for a freaking month. Broadcasting live to Facebook and on the audio stream, as mentioned a number of times. I'm bummed that I missed you blowing the lid off the very foundations of barbecue broadcast. Come on! Yeah, I did mention it like for a month, but... And it was on Facebook, so you wouldn't have seen it anyway. But it's in the podcast, so, you know. It was there. We did it. 13 hours. This will conclude 13 hours of live barbecue broadcasting over the last 7 days. But I'll take Herculean effort each and every time. All right. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Joey Machado, B&B Charcoal, bbcharcoalproducts.com. Check them out. Academy Sports pretty much has their products all over the place. Then we talked with Brett Galloway, Steak Cook-Off Association, recapped some of the Steak Cook-Off Association stuff that I saw while I was in Fort Worth. And he recapped being in Australia. He's kind of tired. He's got some events coming up this weekend as well, so check them out. We talked with Tyson Traeger about woodpelletproducts.com, his brand of pellet-fired patio heaters and outdoor biomass outdoor kitchens or outdoor ovens. Don't forget, you can take part in a 20% price savings on any of those products for the next week with code BBQ, the numeral 4, the letter U. BBQ, the number 4, the letter U, get you 20% off of anything at woodpelletproducts.com. I will keep you reminded about that. And don't forget, for the podcasters and the live listeners, 10% off of anything at southsidemarket.com. That's southsidemarket.com. Enter promo code BBQ Central for 10% off of anything purchased there. Big show lined up for you next week. Usually we have Steven Reichland the third Tuesday, but we will load him in for next week. And I will get to recap the final parts of NBBQA as well. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.